South Bay Buzz is where authentic conversations meet heart-led storytelling. Hosted by me, Megan Lebre. I'm a fifth-generation Angelino and South Bay local. Each episode spotlights the people, events, and places shaping this special area of Los Angeles. From local business owners and event organizers to creatives and community members, you'll hear stories of connection, passion, and resilience. Whether you're growing a business, love supporting local, or craving human-centered stories, tune in for grounded, joyful conversations rooted in the South Bay, but made to resonate wherever you are. Today's episode is brought to you by Orange Door Spaces, your third space right here in the South Bay. It's where work meets inspiration and community. From desk to meeting rooms and event spaces, Orange Door Spaces makes it easy to bring your ideas to life. Today's guest is Martha Gonzales. She is the dynamic president and CEO of Corporation for Healthcare Marketing, CHM, and its affiliate, CHM Insurance Services. With over 30 years of expertise in the healthcare industry, Martha has built a reputation as a dedicated leader and innovator in the field. CHM Inc. is a pioneering multicultural health and supplemental insurance agency that has been serving clients for 2 decades. Under Martha's leadership, the agency has expanded its reach across California and 26 additional states, offering tailored insurance solutions that meet the diverse needs of individuals, families, Medicare recipients, and small to mid-sized businesses. The agency is recognized for its commitment to delivering superior service and value, acting as a personal insurance doctor to diagnose coverage gaps and recommend customized benefited solutions. Martha's approach to business is centered on providing a more personalized healthcare experience with a focus on cost savings and quality of life. Her leadership at CHM Inc. reflects a deep understanding of the industry and a commitment to the well-being of her clients. Beyond her role at CHM, Martha is actively involved in several industry-related associations. She serves as a board member and chair of the quarterly committee for the Case Management Society of America Southern California chapter, a role she has held since 2006. Additionally, she is a member of the National Association of Health Underwriters and the Youth Business Alliance, where she often shares her expertise as a presenter. Martha's daily focus is on inspiring creativity, problem solving, and serving her clients with dedication. Her extensive experience and passion for the healthcare industry continue to drive the success of CHM Inc., making her a respected leader and trusted resource in the field. Welcome back to another episode of South Bay Buzz. I am your host, Megan Lebre, and I am joined today in a brand new setup, but same room. We turned things around a little bit, and so I'm really excited to have my very special guest today, Martha Gonzales. It's so good to see you this morning. How's everything going in your world?
It's amazing.
Yes.
But intense, since we're getting ready for really busy season coming up with people having to make their decisions about health insurance. It's like maybe around the corner, 2 weeks to go.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful for you because you reached out to me on Instagram and we connected, met up at Orange Door Spaces, had some Brew Life coffee and chatted. And I really love the fact that you have had so many years serving the South Bay. And I'm really excited to talk to you about what you do and at such a critical time for all of us as we're thinking about insurance plans and our health, because as this episode says, health is wealth.
Right.
I love that. I love that some marketing clean in you. Anyway, so let's just start from the beginning. Let's let everyone know what originally inspired you to go into healthcare 30 years ago.
I think the original inspiration was that my parents worked at a facility at a hospital, St. Francis Medical Center, for 30 years. And so I was really comfortable in the setting. I was one of the candy striper volunteers.
Did you have the uniform?
Yes.
Okay,
we worked
cool.
for the volunteer guild and we did the gift shop. And so I was really comfortable in the healthcare setting. After I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Communications, I always knew that I'd come back around to healthcare. So my third internship, just before I was ready to graduate, was at the second largest medical provider, Mulliken Medical Centers. And I did my third internship and they offered me a full-time job. During my internship, I I managed 14 of their facilities. So I got to really become familiar all the way from Naples to Arcadia. And so I got to see all the facilities, study the demographics, and became very familiar with everything going on in that area. And so that was my intro to healthcare and Medicare, working with the carriers, working with the providers. And I just started in healthcare and never looked back.
Wow. It's really beautiful. And the funny thing is, we are actually recording this on what would have been my mom's 69th birthday. And she did medical billing for many, many years. So talking to you today is very special. And honestly, I told you this ahead of time. I was like, this will be so special. I feel like I'm honoring her memory. And it feels very connected to talk to you today. So I love your history. And you're truly an expert. So that's amazing. Well, thank you for giving that bit of a background. You've worked specifically with Providence and other South Bay providers for over 13 years.
Yes.
So again, great expertise here. How has this shaped your perspective on our community, our South Bay's healthcare needs?
I've worked closely with the Providence team. We created the marketing program for the insurance division with Medicare. We saw a need for the community to have education to just clear a path through all the frustration. Medicare can get complex, and insurance in general can be complex. We've just created an infrastructure where we can provide information. We can be a resource to the community. We have programs that we do monthly to educate the community. And we serve a pretty large portion of the community and giving them access to quality doctors. It goes way beyond insurance because the insurance is the vehicle that provides the benefits. But think about how your experience with healthcare and just connecting, trying to get connected with doctors and getting things authorized or having access when you're having a baby and what all that means.
Yeah.
So we're there to hold their hands and to create that support for the community. So it's been great.
Yeah. And I feel like the South Bay it's so dynamic because not only of the geographic region, but the South Bay is very community focused.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that is what you've seen as well.
Exactly. And also, we do have about 26,000 businesses that have less than 100 employees. So you have a lot of mom and pop or just small companies that call South Bay their home. And so they need to navigate those waters as well. You have the creatives or the freelancers that are going into their entrepreneurial dreams.
Yes.
And there's a pathway for them to have that coverage and to fulfill their dreams. Because in the past, it was difficult if they had a pre-existing condition
Right.
to make that leap from having employer-sponsored coverage to the independent world. But now we have a lot of pathways for them to be able to have insurance, no questions asked as far as healthcare background on pre-existing conditions. So that's awesome.
Thank you for sharing. That's
Of course.
wonderful insight. All right. So your agency calls itself Personal Insurance Doctor, which I love. Tell us more about what this means and what values drive your mission.
The insurance doctor, basically we're taking each client and each prospective caller and diagnosing. We're doing a needs assessment for every single person because everybody's experience is unique. And so we're taking a look at doctors, we're taking a look at medications, any particular value-added services that are going to be critical for them in that incoming year, whether it be vision or dental or hearing or whatever it is that's coming up for them. And we diagnose the assessment and we make those recommendations for them. So each recommendation is unique. I could even have a married couple in front of me, and perhaps I'm making different recommendations for each of them because of their own unique experience. When you think about your life, maybe with your husband, you may take one medication or none. He may take 5. It just depends. So those recommendations are going to be unique. And that's why we say we're the personal insurance doctor. We want to customize their experience.
It's hugely helpful because kids have certain things and needs. As you said, you or your spouse might have something as well. And to really think critically about what it is that you need now, but then also, like you said, maybe planning for the future for the next year.
Yes. And sometimes it's good for you to do a look back. Perhaps let's take a look at last year. What was my utilization for healthcare? How many times did I go to the doctor? When you're preparing your tax information and maybe your itemized deductions, how much did I spend on healthcare? Did I have to have some diagnostics? Did I have to have surgery? Did I meet that deductible? What are my needs? And that way you can plan ahead as to be smart about where your healthcare dollars are going.
As we kind of alluded to at the beginning, we're right here at the beginning of the peak of busy time. So as we all prepare for open enrollment, what are the biggest mistakes people make when choosing health insurance? How can we avoid them?
Great question, Megan. There are a few things when people think of healthcare or health insurance. Oftentimes they take a look at the premium, and that's a really big deal. And premiums, pretty soon we're going to know what premiums are going to do. Sometimes you can expect maybe an increase of 7 to 10%. This year there are a lot of things that are changing for those that are part of the healthcare exchange through like Covered California. There's going to be some sunsetting of certain assistant, okay, the premium assistance. So that may make it a little bit higher in the premium cost, but it's important for you to look beyond premium. So similar to what we were just discussing, look at the whole picture. You might say, well, I don't have anything planned, and perhaps I can pick a plan that's going to have a little bit of a higher deductible so I can shave off some of the cost. You have 4 metallic levels typically in the individual market. You have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Obviously, bronze is the lowest cost when it comes to individual plans. Silver is probably the best value, has a little bit of a deductible. It's still a little bit more affordable than as you go higher. With the gold, eliminates the deductible, and the platinum eliminates the deductible, but you're looking at a higher cost.
Right.
So take an inventory of what your family's scenario looks like for next year. Sometimes we kind of know, we're going to have that hernia surgery, or we're going to have this particular knee replacement, or whatever it is, and factor that in, because perhaps the difference between a silver that has a deductible and a gold that doesn't, take a look at what that truly is going to cost you, because there are costs beyond the premium. So when you're getting ready to utilize your plan, how much is that going to cost you? And, take an overall snapshot of that when making your decision. Because if you're only making your decision based on premium, you could end up spending a lot more money than you could have saved,
Yeah.
Let's just say you're going to have a baby.
Yeah.
You're going to possibly be in the hospital. Maybe it makes better sense to go with a plan that doesn't have that deductible, and it allows you to spread out that premium year round, as opposed to, oh my gosh, now I have a $4,000 payment because I'm going to be in the hospital.
I think, to your point, it's hard because even if you are looking at something and seeing the details of it, I agree with you that sometimes you just see that big number and you're just like, oh. But when you really look and again, talking to somebody about it and thinking about what is coming up, or what should be coming up, or what potentially might be, it all factors in. So thank you. That's really, really, really helpful, especially as we go into this season.
The other mistake is that people don't realize that there are time frames to make these decisions.
Oh, good point.
And so I'll just go over a couple of the time frames. So if you're an individual under 65 or family that are not afforded coverage through the employer, you're going to want to make your decision between November 1st and January 31st. Once January 31st comes, it closes, and you'll have to wait until the next year. If you're over 65 and you're eligible for Medicare, your open enrollment is going to be October 15th to December 7th. Those are the windows. That open enrollment is about 54 days for Medicare recipients. So again, that when that window closes, there may be some exceptions, like special elections, where if you're losing your job or you're exiting your job, maybe you're like, okay, I've been working past 65 and now I want to start living those golden years. So there's some exceptions. Typically, those exceptions are about a 60-day window. So don't delay. If you lost your job and you're losing your group health, don't wait for 3 months to go by because that window closed. Your 60-day special election period is just that, 2 months. So be cognizant of the window that you need to make decisions.
So mark your calendars now, please.
And this next question really ties into a little bit of what we talked about, but maybe we can give a little bit more detail. So a lot of folks that do listen are small business owners and freelancers. And so as we're thinking about that audience in mind, how can smart insurance strategies protect their health and income?
Great question. With regards to small business employers, what constitutes a small business? So if you are or more, 2 to 100 would be considered a small business. And so you're able to get a small group health policy, even if you're the owner, if you have one part-time person, or if it's the owner and one additional person, you're fine. You constitute a group. On the freelance side, unless you have that extra employee, you're going to want to make your decision during that individual family open enrollment. But the good thing is that now with all of the Affordable Care Act or ACA provisions, you don't have to worry about pre-existing conditions as long as you're making the decision at the right time. Now, for the small groups, 2 or more, you have a year-round open enrollment. So you can, as soon as you decide that you want to offer health insurance to your employee, we can create a quote and a proposal, and you can have coverage the first of the following month, which is nice to, have that option. And there are a couple of other products that you can add on, products through companies like Aflac that give you income continuation should you have some kind of a accident or disability. There's other products that you can add on as well that will help you to secure a more firm financial future. You can also offer the 401ks where it can help you to establish a protocol for investment for you and your company, which is awesome because all of us want to retire at some point.
Yes, please.
The most important thing is that there are products available for them to be able to stay healthy and to be able to support that legacy that they want to leave.
So many businesses here in the South Bay are considered by that standard small businesses.
26,500 or so. Yeah.
That's a lot. Oh my gosh.
And that's South Bay.
Yeah, that's just the South Bay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's huge.
This episode is sponsored by Orange Door Spaces, my go-to working home in the South Bay. I record my podcast here. I love how the space blends comfort of home with the energy of a creative hub. Whether you need a quiet spot to focus, a room for your team, or a flexible venue for an event, Orange Door Spaces offers freedom, inspiration, and a welcoming community. Check them out and see how your workday, your events, and your ideas can thrive.
Will you please share an example of how the right health insurance plan saves people money and improves their long-term financial health?
There's so many examples that I've worked with clients where choosing the right plan is so critical. This particular example that I'm thinking about is for a particular Medicare client that I have that was taking a specific medication. And by choosing the right plan, it can literally save you like $10,000, $15,000 a year. So it's really critical. Sometimes when we think about health insurance, we think, okay, premium and what else am I going to be having? But if you're managing a chronic condition, those medications are going to be picked up monthly at the pharmacy. You might not get an MRI every month. You might not have an ambulance ride every month. You might not be hopefully hospitalized every month. But again, the medication is a really big aspect, the pharmaceutical. There are some resources for those that are dealing with high costs in the pharmacy. And I always recommend to my clients, you have to be your best advocate. There are definitely different resources that you can use. And if your particular health plan has a specific copay for a medication that you're taking, you can also use other tools like GoodRx or singlecare.com that can help give you a coupon for something that maybe would cost you more on your particular insurance. So again, be your best advocate. And so I kind of gave you a general, not one specific one, but definitely there are these instances where, you can really make a big difference by choosing the right plan.
It's beautifully said. And actually, I've got to shout out. So I had my amazing friend, Ciara. She is the founder of Her Black Wellness. And one of the tips she gave on this podcast was to be your best advocate. And that came from her personal experiences, but also just working with women, in particular Black women, but really for all of us to be our best advocates. So I just really appreciate that little crossover because I just had her a couple episodes ago. So that's really beautiful, that little tie-in. So yeah.
One more thing is really important. I think that we may gloss over it, but preventative is so critical. It's part of the essential benefits, part of every single plan. There's a list of preventative screenings and services that are at zero cost to the consumer. And there are certain age requirements, but talk to your doctor about what's coming up for you. Maybe you're hitting a specific milestone. Maybe you're hitting 50 or you're hitting 40 or, there's going to be certain milestones that require for you to do your own health tune-up.
I like the little health tune-up. It's true. I had a mentor of mine in college and she shared a story with me about her own health. And because of that story, I never miss an annual physical checkup ever. And same for my women's health checkup. Sometimes we can avoid the doctor because maybe we're feeling insecure, maybe we're worried or we have something coming up for us. But I think something I've learned is the more information you have gives you that baseline of where you are and what's going on. And that the more that you can share with your PCP, that is so helpful for them because then they can also help you, your advocate too. So yeah.
And we should actually be completely aware of our body. If something feels different, check it out. Do your self-examination.
Yes.
Be aware and tackle it head on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm so excited to hear you talk about this because this is really about you and your ties to community. During your life, you've been deeply involved in professional and youth organizations, which I think is phenomenal. What motivates you to mentor and support this next generation?
I think that my inspiration comes from really my own grassroots. I was the first in my family to go to college. That was a goal of mine. And so I felt that mentoring has been one of those game changers for me. In addition to the 3 internships that I did before graduating, I had gone to a particular conference that was held every single year in Long Beach. It was the Governor's Women Conference. And they had a panel. And one of the panelists, Dr. Adil Shili, and she was phenomenal. And she was a mentor, a coach. And back then, that was around, I don't know, maybe in the 1998, 2000. And she talked about the importance of having a mentor and working with a coach. It was the first time that I thought, okay, I can actually work with somebody that will help me to broaden my ideas and help me to think way beyond my own scope. And so I started working with her as my life coach and professional coach. And that was, I think, the game changer, that it helped me to think about business, career in a whole different light. It opened up my mind. It opened up other doors. And because I felt so fortunate to have had that in my path, I felt that, these youth are our future. And it's my obligation as a successful person, professional, to give back and to inspire. So I've actually gone back. I went to Cal State Fullerton for my degree and my bachelor's. And I went back as a professor for the day at the Mahalo School of Business and Economics now. This is a new program there. And so I've spoken to the youth about the U.S. healthcare system, about how they can help align with professionals and work with internships and just really give them tips, open their mind and give back. And also through the Youth Business Alliance, I've been a speaker periodically and just imparting inspiration, just strategies, giving them my story, where it's like you can actually set a goal, set a dream, and you actually have to set a goal and you have to think big and set the strategies to back it up. And so it's been inspirational to give back.
For someone who is, let's say, like a busy professional working, who's got kids of their own, like young kids of their own,
Of course.
do you have any advice on small ways that you can start to weave that into your life or bring it back?
I'm a mom of two.
Yes.
And I feel that I have chosen the organizations that I give back to strategically. Some of them are professional based, industry based, but I've also served on the PA board for my kids' school, the high school, as well as the elementary school. So I've always been involved in that capacity and giving back. So I think that having young kids, you can take a look at those types of organizations or purpose that you can align yourself with. So you have to respect your season. And I think there's seasons for everybody and everything. There's some organizations that I have served on boards and participated with. Some of them I'm just a volunteer whenever I can. If it's just a specific event, then I contribute then. Or if it's more of something where I find, like, I've been serving on the board of the Case Management Society of America for, I want to say 20 years. And I look at my capacity and then I give back as I can. And I can't make every single meeting, and you can't beat yourself up for that.
Yeah.
You have to be realistic and honor your time too, because you're juggling a lot. So I think that just pick your organizations or pick your particular volunteer work accordingly. Another way that I pick a meaningful organization is something that's touched my life personally. Is my daughter had a best friend that passed away at 14 years old of CPVT, and her family, in a way to honor her, created the Piece of My Heart Foundation. And so every year they do a gala, a fundraising, and they turn something that was so traumatic into something, an arm of being proactive, giving them a way to give back and to prevent something like this from happening in the future. So they call it the silent killer. You hear about these children that collapse on the field. They're not expecting it. So again, I just pick my organizations based on how they've impacted my life or my children. Let's just say, I became a Girl Scouts leader because that gave me and my daughter an opportunity to create a habit of giving back to her too. So now she's organizing things at the Ronald McDonald House and working on these projects. So now it's taught her that giving back is important. And we were able to do that together. So again, there's so many ways that you can give back, and it's much more fulfilling to give than to receive, in my mind.
I was thinking about my mom today and what age we started to volunteer together. And honestly, I think my daughter's 6, but it's never too early, honestly. And just thinking about some things that she likes to do and finding ways that we can get back to the community together. I think she might be really starting to be at a good age where we can start doing that. So thank you for sharing.
And because your daughter's 6, think about some fun things like a 5K, they have bubble runs, they have all kinds of events that you can do together that will help you get some exercise. It will help you have time together. And for the most part, many of them fundraise for different causes. So that could be a fun way to start and to do something fun together.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. I only have one last question for you, and it all stems from this book called A Leader's Legacy. And there's a great quote in it that says, "The legacy you leave is the life you lead." And talking about how every action you take, every word you say, all of that tells your story. So for you, as you're thinking about your legacy and the communities that you serve, especially in the South Bay, what legacy do you hope to leave?
I feel that because my work is aligned with my mission in life, I feel that an immense amount of fulfillment because I feel like it's not really work. I love what I do. And so every time I help somebody to figure out their health insurance situation, I'm contributing to their life and their happiness and their health. And I also have a favorite book that I read a long time ago, really easy read, The Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck. And it talked about delayed gratification. And it talked about, do you pay the price now so that you can play later? I've always had that philosophy in my life. I'm going to pay now. So later on, I'm able to really enjoy the fruits of my labor. And so I feel that I've always had a dream. I've always set goals. And as I've accomplished those goals, it's really helped me to appreciate my growth professionally, personally, and again, to just inspire others to be their best and to dream big.
I feel like your mission and vision, everything aligns, and it's just beautiful how you've shared so much today with us. And so I'm so thankful you decided to come on the podcast. Thank you. Of course. Before we wrap up, would you please let folks know how they can connect with you in person and digitally?
Of course. Thank you so much for that opportunity. So again, you can reach me by all the means. Our email, martha@chminsurance.com. You can call us toll free 855-466-1008. And you can also even text me 562-896-4196. If for whatever reason I'm not available because I'm doing amazing fun things like this, I have a team that has been with me for 20 plus years and they are amazing. Feel free to just give us a call, send me a text, send me an email, come to one of our meetings. We're here for you.
And thank you all for listening. And as always, thank you for being a part of the movement to shop small and support local here in the South Bay. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to South Bay Buzz with Megan Lebre. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow the show wherever you listen. Leave a quick review and share it with a friend. You can also follow the Buzz on Instagram and Facebook at the South Bay Buzz, and follow the podcast Instagram at South Bay Buzz. I also have a brand new relaunched website, southbaybuzz.com. So be sure that you join our newsletter and stay tuned for more stories, updates to come.